of new sellers on Whatnot actually train their audience to leave their shows, and giveaways are often the reason why. Giveaways are definitely powerful, but if you use them wrong, you'll end up paying for viewers who never buy. In the first episode of this series, we talked about how building community is the most important thing to focus on as a new seller. And if you haven't watched that yet, pause this right here and watch it first, because using giveaways to your advantage won't work unless you are also actively working on building that community. Now, we know that giveaways can definitely increase the amount of followers that you have, but if you're not using them well, they aren't helping you gain followers that are actually a part of that community and who actually support you and buy from you. This episode is about how you're going to use giveaways to help support that community building goal. If you're new here, hi, I'm Taylor Joe. I started reselling on eBay about a year and a half ago just to make a little extra money and to have a little hobby. And I really enjoyed it, so I branched out to other platforms, most recently Whatnot. And this has now unintentionally become a full-time business. I've been posting about this journey here on YouTube since the beginning. And since I found quick success on Whatnot, and I also have over a decade of sales experience, I decided to start this series where I share the little hacks that I have learned along the way that got me from literally 0 viewers and 0 sales all the way to earning a full-time income on this app in a matter of just a few months. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing, and welcome to episode 2. Let's get into it. Due to the type of content I post on this channel, I actually get several messages per week from subscribers telling me about their experience as a new seller on Whatnot. Some of y'all even come into my shows and we just kind of start chatting about it with whoever else is in the room, and it ends up being a really fun conversation. But there's one new seller story that I hear over and over again, and it goes a little something like this. Yeah, my first show went okay. I sold a few things, ran a few giveaways, but when I went to go pack my orders, the seller hub told me that I actually owed money. This might sound familiar to you, and believe it or not, I spend a lot of time in new seller shows because I use Whatnot as a way to source for my eBay store. One thing I notice pretty consistently is that new sellers tend to run giveaways almost in a sense of panic. They're running giveaways when they notice people leaving the room, or when they've shown several items and had 0 bids, or even worse, they're just running giveaways one after the other after the other. And honestly, that's kind of backwards, and it ends up costing the seller in the end. I totally understand the idea behind the decision. If someone pops in and sees a giveaway running, they'll follow the seller to enter it, stick around for the 5 minutes while it runs, and if the seller holds their attention, hopefully they'll stay afterwards. But what actually happens most of the time is that they'll pop in, enter the giveaway, wait the 5 minutes, and then leave when it's over. And now you've just gained a follower who may just be a givey goblin. If you're unfamiliar with the term givey goblin, it's a common term amongst the Whatnot community to describe someone who just surfs through live shows on Whatnot and just enters as many giveaways as they can without spending a single penny. Even if this person isn't a bona fide givey goblin, trust me when I say this new follower that you gain, who followed you specifically because that was the barrier to enter your giveaway, doesn't care about you or what you're selling. If you don't believe me, I have some really easy homework for you. Go to your main feed on Whatnot and sort it by least viewers to most viewers. Typically, the shows with the least viewers are beginner sellers. Tap their profile and you can see how many followers they have. You're gonna see a really common theme here that might seem really confusing, and it's that some beginners have a lot of followers. You're gonna see people that have more followers than some of your favorite intermediate and advanced sellers. But why the low viewer count? Why the low number of sales? They're able to summon thousands of people into the room as soon as they go live. So where are those followers? And they're running giveaways periodically, so that should be keeping people in the room, right? Wrong. These sellers have unfortunately trained their followers' behavior. And training consumer behavior is something businesses have been doing for decades. It's a tactic that has real science behind it, and it works. But if you're not careful, you can accidentally train bad buyer behavior too. When somebody stays in your show because of a giveaway, the giveaway becomes the reason that they're there. So the moment the giveaway ends, the reason to stay disappears too. And if you repeat this pattern show after show, people start associating your show with free stuff instead of the items you're actually trying to sell. If the giveaway is the main attraction, you're building an audience that's there for the wrong reason. An audience that doesn't really care about you or what you're selling. You're using giveaways as a retention tactic without having built the community whose attention you want to keep. So again, I'm going to assume that you watched the first episode of this series and you're working on that community building. Now it's time to incorporate giveaways. Not as bait, but as a tool to enhance your community building even further and increase the following that matters and increase your sales and your income overall. While most new sellers are using giveaways to increase their follower count, which we now know is a vanity metric, and I'll talk more about when follower count actually matters later, you're going to use them as a tool to increase engagement, which, as you know from watching episode 1, increases retention, which is what sends a signal to Whatnot's algorithm, letting them know that your show is worth watching. Giveaways should be used to celebrate moments, honor other sellers, create excitement, and to reward your community and its buyers. They should not be used to build your audience from scratch. What's important to understand here is your giveaway frequency. Most new sellers fall into one of two camps. They either run no giveaways at all, which is exactly me when I started because I was terrified to lose money, or they run way too many. The reality is that giveaways work best when they're an occasional moment in your show, not the entire show itself. If there's always a giveaway running, then giveaways stop feeling like a reward and start feeling like the main event. Now, don't get me wrong, there are sellers out there who run constant giveaways and it works for them. Those are typically huge, high volume shops, pushing tens of thousands of dollars of inventory every day. And at that scale, they're not really focused on building a tight community. They're focused on moving volume and hitting numbers. And that's a completely different caliber of seller than most people watching this. So instead of just running giveaways randomly or all the time, we're going to use them intentionally to support the main mission of your business, which again, is building your community. I have 5 different and very practical ways that you can use giveaways that will actually make sense and support that mission. The first one is the raid giveaway. I actually mentioned this in my first ever video about my experience as a new seller on Whatnot because I thought it was really cool and whoever came up with it is a genius. A raid is when another seller ends their show and then they send all of their current viewers to your show. The raid giveaway is as simple as this. When you get raided by another seller, you run a giveaway in their honor. This does 3 things. Most importantly, it honors the seller that raided into you, which immediately creates a connection between you and that seller and their viewers and their community. The second is that it gives you a 5-minute opportunity to tell these new viewers what you're all about. And the people that fit your vibe will likely return to you. And the third, which is the least important but definitely an honorable mention, is that you'll gain followers. Now, I did mention earlier that follower count is definitely not the most important metric, and that's still true. But it's not completely useless either. Follower count is what I would call a bit of a vanity metric, but vanity metrics can still create perceived value. If someone clicks on your show and they notice that you have 10,000 followers, they're naturally going to assume that you're more experienced and established than someone with 200. But the important thing is that your show matches the expectation that that number creates. If someone clicks into a show and is expecting something impressive and it doesn't match that expectation, it can actually have the opposite effect. The next type of giveaway is the sales milestone giveaway. This is one that I personally recently implemented in my shows, and it has made a massive difference, not only in the amount of sales that I've made, but also my audience retention. What this means is that you'll run a giveaway after every certain amount of sales. And this is not going to be something that you do in secret. You're going to be very vocal about it to your audience. Make sure that they know exactly what you're giving away and keep reminding them when you're going to run it. For example, I will say in the beginning of my shows, just so you know, I'm going to be running a mood ring giveaway every 10 sales today. I will also say that includes anything in my buy now section, which naturally transitions me into talking about my buy now section, which most viewers forget exists, including myself. And then 5 sales in, I will say, hey, hey, we're halfway until the first giveaway. And then 9 sales in, I'll say 1 more sale until the first giveaway. This works because when people see progress towards something, they naturally want to help push things forward. So when you mention how close you are to the next giveaway, suddenly people feel like they're a part of getting there. Even if someone buys a $1 item from your shop, they will feel like they contributed to unlocking the giveaway. And typically when people buy one thing, they will take advantage of the bundling feature and buy more things. And people truly do enjoy having that visible goal forward. This also turns getting the giveaway into a group effort, which is a great way to build that community. Instead of having a passive audience, the energy becomes, let's all get to the next milestone, and buyers will start pushing forward together. And you obviously can't forget about the anticipation that giveaways create. Even if they don't participate in getting to the giveaway, there's an excitement that happens that causes people to feel the need to stay to see if the room gets to that number. And the closer you get to that milestone, the more exciting it becomes. This keeps people watching longer, which again is a retention signal to the algorithm. If you compare this to the random panic giveaways that new sellers tend to do that we were talking about earlier, instead of rewarding people for just showing up, you're rewarding activity that actually moves your show forward. You're literally rewarding momentum, not rewarding freeloading. It's worth mentioning also that milestone giveaways reduce loss for the seller, which is super important, and it's actually the reason that I started doing milestone giveaways. With each sale, you're building the income to cover that giveaway and then some, so that it will not be possible for you to owe money to Whatnot by the time your show is over. Okay, the next one is timed giveaways, and this one is a little bit tricky. I would recommend this one to maybe newer sellers that already have a community established. Timed giveaways are when you have a few, maybe mid-range giveaway items that you give away at a certain time during your show, like every hour or every half hour. You'll want to tease these at the beginning of your show and remind your audience regularly what the giveaway items are and when they'll be run. Now, when I say tease, I'm not referring to the shows that say they're going to give away an iPad and then they never do. You and me, we don't exist on that side of Whatnot because we are good sellers who have morals, okay? Anyways, this one is a little bit trickier than sales milestone giveaways because you are promising to give away the item even if you don't make any sales, which is why I said I recommend this for sellers who are confident enough that they're gonna make enough sales to cover the cost of those giveaways. The reason this type of giveaway works is the same reason the milestone giveaway works. It creates anticipation and audience retention, and if you know your audience well, you'll know how to pick items that they'll stick around for. All right, this next one is the winner's choice giveaway. And this one can actually be combined with all of the others. What you're gonna do is have multiple different giveaway items that share the same value. And whoever wins the giveaway gets to pick which free item they want. It makes the giveaway feel more personal and more valuable to them, which, you guessed it, makes that person feel like a part of the community by inviting participation, which is what we talked about in episode 1. You can use this method for a raid giveaway, a milestone giveaway, even a timed giveaway. Or you can even use it for a buyer's giveaway, which is what I'm about to talk about next. The buyer's giveaway is my favorite giveaway because it rewards the folks that pay my bills. If you're unfamiliar, when you go to create a giveaway on Whatnot, you can choose whether it is an everyone giveaway, meaning everyone can enter it, or if it's a follower giveaway, which means only followers can enter it, or a buyer's giveaway, which means that only people who purchased during your show can enter this giveaway. It's worth mentioning that in the US, it is apparently illegal for people to create a giveaway that only buyers can enter. So Whatnot created a way that non-buyers can fill out a form to enter buyers' giveaways even if they did not buy anything. Thankfully, I've never had this happen before, and most viewers aren't gonna go through the work to do that, which is a good thing. I'm not even gonna show or explain the instructions on how to do that because it's just stupid. I'm gonna quote a friend of mine here, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Seriously, don't be a Now, I personally don't see much reason to run everyone giveaways. Followers giveaways grow your perspective value by increasing your follower count, and buyers giveaways reward the people that are monetarily supporting your show. And everyone giveaway doesn't really encourage either of those behaviors. Do what you want, but I personally would not recommend using them. Before we go too deep into how to use buyers giveaways, I want to show you guys kind of like a tiered giveaway system that works really, really well for me, and I've noticed works well for other sellers as well. I like to think of giveaways like 3 different tiers. Now, this is not set in stone by any means. This is just what works for me, and the items you're going to see in these examples are things that I've seen other people give away and things that I've given away myself. And fair warning, they're mostly geared toward women because literally 99% of my buyers are women, and most of my audience on YouTube is also women. So the first tier is something that's flat and easily repeatable. For example, I will use like flat cosmetic face masks or under eye masks or lip masks, something like that that is flat and can fit in an envelope. I run one of these at the beginning of every single one of my shows because that creates a repeatable element that we talked about in episode 1, and I will also use these for raid giveaways. And if you're watching this at least a week after it's been posted, I have another video out that will show you exactly how to set up your giveaways so that giveaways only cost you 78 cents to ship. Okay, the next tier is slightly more valuable and more fun and more giftable. While the flat and repeatable one was probably under $1 cost of goods, this one might be between $1 and $2 cost of goods. For example, right now I've been doing mood rings. They cost just over $1 each, and they're nostalgic and they're versatile and they fit perfectly with what I sell, which is rings. And the winner gets to pick their size. They can keep the item or they can give it as a gift, or if they're a seller, they can even use it as a giveaway in their own show. These are what I use for milestone giveaways, as I mentioned earlier. The next tier would be more valuable and more useful. I put this at about between a $2 and $5 cost of goods. For example, right now I use travel size jewelry cases. They can put the rings that they buy from me inside of it. They also get to pick what color that they want, and they cost me under $3 to source. You could even use gift cards for this tier, which also fits in an envelope. That level 3 tier, that's what you want to use as your buyer's giveaway. And just to be very, very clear, the cost of goods on these items are based on what's realistic for a newer seller. If you're running a premium shop and an iPad makes sense to you as a giveaway item, then by all means, do that. Actually, an iPad is one of those rare giveaway items that appeals to literally any audience, because even if someone didn't need or want or doesn't like an iPad, they can just sell it, and there's the value right there. But for beginner and intermediate sellers, I'd recommend choosing giveaway items that make sense with what you're selling and make sense for your audience. If I'm running a jewelry show and I'm giving away, I don't know, fishing lures, I'm probably attracting people who aren't really interested in buying jewelry. No shade to the fisherman that's watching this with pretty little rings on their fingers. I see you. But since, like I mentioned earlier, most of my audience is women, things like face masks and mood rings make a lot more sense for my giveaways. And trust me, I'd be giving away iPads if I could afford to do that. Now, once you've picked giveaway items that make sense for your audience, there's one more thing that you need to keep in mind. The buyer's giveaway needs to be more valuable than any of your other giveaways, even if it's just by a little bit. Because if the prize for buying something is the same or worse than the prize for just following, you're basically telling your audience that supporting the show by buying isn't worth any more than doing nothing. Similar to the other types of giveaways, you'll want to tease this giveaway at the very beginning and regularly throughout your show. I am very guilty of forgetting to do this for some reason, but it is very important because, and you're gonna notice a theme here, it builds anticipation. Plus, you'll have new people coming in and out of your show throughout the duration of your show that won't know that you have a buyer's giveaway until you say so. Don't worry that you keep repeating yourself throughout your show. Your regulars will understand. Personally, I choose to only do one buyer's giveaway per show, but you can logistically do as many as you'd like. And just like the winner's choice giveaway, you can run this as a sales milestone giveaway or a timed giveaway. However, the more you run buyer's giveaways, the less special they become. When they happen occasionally instead, the prize feels more valuable, and buyers will stay engaged because they know that it doesn't happen all the time. Buyers only giveaways work because when people know that there's a free higher value item coming and the only barrier to entry is buying something, it not only gives them another reason to make a purchase, even if it's just one item, but it also gives them a reason to stick around until the buyer's giveaway runs. Now, if you watch my Whatnot shows and you heard that last sentence, you're probably thinking, but Taylor, you don't make your buyers stay in the show for the buyer's giveaway. That's correct, and thank you for watching my shows. Whatnot does not require buyers to stay the full duration of the show in order to win the buyer's giveaway. It only requires that they are in the show while the buyer's giveaway is running. This next little hack is something that I copied from other sellers in my community, and yet another method that you can use for community building and is also totally optional. I'm gonna call this the bat signal because that is what my friend Stephanie calls it, and exactly who I stole this genius idea from. Her username is sophisticated thrift on Whatnot. I will put it down here so that you can see the exact username. I will also put a link to her profile in my description down below because she is an amazing seller. She just celebrated her 1-year anniversary on Whatnot. She is absolutely killing it, and she has one of the best shops I have ever seen on Whatnot. Actually, she has the best shop I've ever seen on Whatnot. Anyways, the bat signal is a non-purchasable listing that is strictly used just for people to bookmark. If you don't know what bookmarking is, you actually have the ability to bookmark any listing on Whatnot. And what that means is that you tap the little flag on the listing, and when the seller pins that listing, you will get an additional notification from Whatnot on your phone, no matter what you're doing, where you are, that tells you that that listing is about to be run. It's basically warning you that, hey, if you like this item, you better come look at it now because other people might bid on it. And side note, as a seller, if you have items in your shop that have a lot of bookmarks on them, just pin them. Pin them, show the item. It will summon all the people that bookmarked it back into your show. This is another little, like a little quick hack, because if your show is completely dead, that's a little secret way that you can bring back people into your show. Now, the genius bat signal idea uses that bookmarking feature to your advantage. I'm gonna put a little how-to video up here. Or here, I don't know what side it's gonna be on. What you're gonna do is you're gonna create a quality auction listing. Make sure that it is a quality listing and not a temporary listing, otherwise it's going to disappear and all of the bookmarks will disappear with it. It can be in the other category, honestly, that part doesn't really matter. And title it something like, I'm live, come hang out. You can title it whatever you want, but note that this is the message that they're gonna see when they get the notification when you've pinned it. Add some zeros to the front of the title so that it's always on top of your alphabetically sorted shop, and you can write a quick little explanation in the description. Make sure that it is set to auction, not buy it now, because if it's set to buy it now, that means people will be able to swipe on it, but with an auction listing, they cannot swipe on it unless you run it. And because this is a non-purchasable listing, you're going to set the price to an outrageous number that no one would possibly swipe on if for some reason this auction accidentally does run. You're also going to set it so that it appears in every single one of your upcoming shows. Don't worry about the shipping weight because this is not a real listing, so just pick whatever. And feel free to add whatever photo you like. You can make it cohesive with your branding like I do, or you can do a funny meme or a picture of yourself. It really doesn't matter. It's not that deep. On your next show, within the first few minutes of your show, you are going to pin this listing. This is the listing that everyone's gonna see at the bottom of your screen when you go live. And you're gonna tell all of your viewers to bookmark this listing. And you're gonna explain why. Tell them that you will pin this listing at the beginning of every show and you will pin it when the buyer's giveaway is running. This does two things. It notifies your followers that your show is running. And yes, I know they get a notification when you go live, but sometimes Whatnot or your phone fails to do so. It does it for me all the time. And it notifies them when it is time to come back and enter that buyer's giveaway if they had purchased something previously during your show. Now, as far as the buyer's giveaway signal goes, you might be asking, but Taylor, doesn't that give the buyers permission to leave your show? Yes. It absolutely does. And it sounds counterintuitive, but it actually kind of works like reverse psychology. I originally started doing this because I didn't want my regular buyers to feel like they had to sit through hours of my show just to get rewarded for supporting me. A lot of them will come in right at the beginning, buy something, and then they've got other things to do. But what ended up happening is that it actually made people more likely to stay in my show and come back to future ones because they know that they can trust me to respect their time. They know that I'm a real person who understands that not everybody has time to just sit and watch Whatnot shows all day, but that buyers should still be appreciated. Now, you should always do what feels right to you. If what I just said sounds like absolute nonsense to you, totally understand. Do what feels right to you. But for me, this was one of those little community building things that has gone a long way. It's showing my buyers that I'm not just looking for their money. I'm building loyalty and trust and an actual community. So now you know the mistake that you should avoid as a new seller. You've got 5 things that you can practice to use giveaways as a tool to support your community and build your sales. And you know the secret bat signal hack, which is literally something that I've only seen the people in my little tight seller community do. So you're welcome. We don't gatekeep. Nobody in my community gatekeeps. And if you are a new seller and you are looking for people to help you with anything, the people in my community, and it's not like we're like a closed community or anything, it's just a group of people who just tend to always be in each other's shows. I don't know. I feel like I just have this like web that started off with like me and one other person, and then they introduced me to their friends, and then their friends introduced me to their friends, and then it's just like spidering out, and it's crazy. And that's literally how Whatnot works. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is if you need support, just message me on Whatnot or come into one of my shows and introduce yourself, tell us what you sell, and that sort of thing. I'm always happy to shout out a new seller. But anyways, if you take anything away from this video, let it be this. Giveaways are a tool. When they are used intentionally, they can increase engagement, reward your buyers, and help strengthen the community that you're building in your show. But when they're used out of panic or just to create followers, it can actually train your followers to behave in a way that does not support your business. As a seller, every decision you make in your show teaches your audience something. It teaches them what kind of show you run and what kind of value you offer and what kind of behavior is rewarded. And giveaways are just one example of that. In the next episode of this series, we're going to talk about another decision that teaches your buyers how to behave. And that's how you start your auctions. Because the starting bid you choose doesn't just affect the price of one item. It can shape the expectations your buyers have for your show and your future shows. So in the next video of this series, we are breaking down how to set the right starting bid on Whatnot. Don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss it. And if you liked this video or if it was helpful to you in any way, please give it a thumbs up. And I would love for you guys to leave a comment down below telling me what's the best giveaway item you've ever received. Also, if you want to be a Whatnot seller and you want to earn $150 match from Whatnot in your first week of selling, I've got a link right in the top of my description down below that you can sign up. It is not sponsored at all. This is a link that every Whatnot seller gets. If you're a Whatnot seller, use your own link to get people you know who want to sign up to be a seller on Whatnot, because it gives you a commission when somebody signs up and makes their first sale, which is amazing. Several of you have already signed up using my link, and I have been using that income to go towards a huge project that I have coming. Haven't talked about it on YouTube yet, but I have talked about it on Whatnot quite a bit. So if you know, you know. I promise I'll talk about it on YouTube if it actually becomes a real thing, but I don't want to jinx myself. Anyways, that is all I have for today's video. I am so excited to see you in the next one. Bye!